And good evening, and welcome to high school basketball here on North Metro TV. Alongside Blythe Whaley, I'm Nick Walsh, and outside of that, everything is different here.
Right.
As the two of us are here, Rock Clark, our cameraman, is here, and outside of that, we are learning how to do just about everything tonight. As you can see, right from the start, we are all masked up. The players are masked up. The coaches are masked up. Everybody is masked up. And so a different feel, a different landscape here tonight as we have a good basketball game, hopefully on the court. But we're going to learn as we go here
Yeah, certainly.
at Centennial. As we take a look tonight, Spring Lake Park comes in. A 19-8 record last year, a solid season. They've got some nice players coming back. And they're taking on a Centennial Cougar team that also had a very good season. 21-7 last year, lost in the section championship game to Park Center. These two teams look like they have a lot of tools yet to succeed again this year, and we should see a good one here tonight.
Yeah, definitely for Coach Sobolik before the game. Really excited that Jody Anderson as well as Jenna Geyer are returners. And I mean, Jenna Geyer last season had a double-double on average. And so having that key player for them, that's going to be a tough battle there for Spring Lake Park to make sure that they're man marking and sticking with Jenna Geyer and Jody Anderson, who both were huge impact players last season.
Yeah, you talk about Jenna Geyer, 15.4 points per game, 10.3 rebounds per game as well, and Jody Anderson, another senior, 5'11 senior, averaging 15.8 points per game last year as well as 5.8 rebounds. Meanwhile, for Spring Lake Park, they've got some nice players coming back as well, leading off with Maddie and Genny, the senior, 0 points per game, 14 points per game, and also 9.7 rebounds. So they also have a player that can be a double-double threat on any given night.
Yeah, Coach Etherton for Spring Lake Park was telling me that for his team, I mean, he's a little concerned they're not as deep as they have been in the past, but also knowing they do have Ngeni. She scored quite a bit for them, and they just have those players that are willing to put in the work to make sure that they are going to have a good game here tonight.
As we will break here, but we should have a good one here tonight. The first game of the year. We're into January, so obviously a little different timeline here tonight, a little different physicality with the masks. We'll get into that a little more as we go tonight, but should be a good one. The exciting thing is we are here, they are here, and we're all excited for high school basketball here on North Metro TV. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have the starters and the opening tip-off of this 2021 season. When we come back, you're watching high school basketball on North Metro TV.
Kids will be kids, which just goes to say kids will be curious. They get into everything, everything. If there's a loaded firearm in the house, they could get their hands on that too. Keeping firearms locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition in a place inaccessible to kids can help keep your loved ones safe from family fire. Safe gun storage saves lives.
If you love concerts and live theater, going to baseball games, and eating in restaurants, inside, if you love parties and the small talk with the guy who makes you iced coffee the right way, then wear a mask and let's beat this virus so we can get back to the things we love. Mask up, America.
Hey, Julia, are you ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Hey, chat. Why do I wear a mask? Because when I'm not behind the screen, my mask is my cheat code. And when we stop the spread, we level up. What's the next level? Hanging with friends again. You're right, masks have always been a part of our community. I miss you guys too. Being face to face is truly the next level. Here's the cheat code. Stop the spread of corona. Mask up, America.
Whoa, we scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine. I'm gonna need that back. No. Kevin!
Oscar the Grouch here to tell you, yeah, you, to wear a mask out in public around other people. Sure, it'll keep you healthy, but more importantly, I won't have to see your happy, smiling face. And if you don't want to wear a mask, I've just got one thing to tell you. Scram! Go away!
Caring for each other because we are all in this together.
So wear a mask and have a rotten day, will ya?
Smith. Senior number 32, Taylor Belvey.
And we're back here once again at Centennial High School, where Spring Lake Park, the opening opponent of the home team, the Centennial Cougars. Both teams coming in, obviously, no record. This is the first game of the season for either team. Let's get you the starting lineups. First for the Spring Lake Park Panthers. Head coach is Randy Etherton. Last year, once again, 19-8 overall. Lost in the first round to Champlin Park in the Section 5 Class 4A quarterfinals. First off at a guard, a junior, number 13, Avery Dunbar. Also at a guard tonight, a senior, number 24, Macy Smith. Also at a guard, a senior, number 32, Taylor Falvey. At a guard, a sophomore, number 33, Cameron Smith. And at forward, a senior, number 23, Maddie Ngeni. Now for the home team tonight, the Centennial Cougars. Once again, no record this season, but 21-7 last year. Lost in the section championship game of Section 5 Class 4A to Park Center, 68-52. First off, at a guard, a 5'9 junior, number 5, Sydney Cubes. Also at a guard, a 5'4 junior, number 15, Haley Mulberry. Also at a guard, a 5'11 senior, number 20, Jody Anderson. And a guard, a 5'8 junior, number 23, Camille Cummings. And at center, the 6'2 senior, number 45, Jenna Geyer. As we are just about set to go, as you can see, Centennial wearing the red uniforms tonight, white lettering, black trim. And for the most part, black face masks. I guess we got to throw that one in. And for Spring Lake Park, white uniforms, royal blue lettering, red trim. And a black or a blue shade or hue of masks here tonight as well. As we are set to go, this 21 season is underway. Spring Lake Park winning the opening tip as Macy Smith will give it off now to Avery Dunbar, the point guard here for the Spring Lake Park Panthers. Smith kicking it into the corner for Falvey.
Yeah, and it's so nice to see these ladies hit the court, get that opportunity to play this season.
This one will go out of bounds, a turnover for Spring Lake Park to start this one out. So Centennial will get the basketball for the first time tonight.
I mean, just think about it, Nick. Like, these ladies, they haven't had a whole lot of time to practice even. So just those touches on the ball, some of those fundamentals are going to be kind of lacking maybe here in the early parts of the season just because of that.
As this is Cubes trying to get it inside, but we've got a whistle, and was that ball kicked, I believe, and so it'll stay with Centennial. Sydney Cubes, the 5'9 junior, averaged a little over 5 points per game last season.
Fun to see her on the basketball court. You see her a lot on the soccer field as well.
As the give goes to Jenna Geyer, and she has the first bucket of the season for Centennial, as it is 2-0 in favor of the Cougars. Geyer, as we mentioned in the pregame, the three on the way by Smith is no good. Panthers retain the basketball. Geyer a double-double threat last season, as we've got a jump ball here. It's going to go back to Centennial on the alternate possession.
So something to keep watch for as well is when these two teams matched up last season, Geyer ended up with 20 points, and that is a huge thing to happen when, I mean, the game, the final score was so close, and if one player is having 20 points, it was 57. The Centennial beat the Panthers, and they need to shut Geyer down if they want to stay in this one.
Here's a drive and score by Anderson, and she'll go to the line for a three-point play opportunity. Anderson as well. We talked about Geyer averaged 15.4, but Anderson actually the leading scorer, coming back at 15.8 points per game between regular season and postseason. And the free throw is up and good. About a 75% free throw shooter on the season last year, and Centennial up 5-0. And quickly a shot up, no good for the Panthers, and the rebound by Geyer quickly up the court to Cummings, and off the glass and good. Camille Cummings, 5'8" junior on the board, and a 7-0 run to start this game for Centennial. And now another turnover, and a foul will be called against Avery Dunbar underneath. And to the line again will go Anderson, who went to the line and is 1 for 1 earlier in the game.
Coach Sobolek has to be so proud of his team. The way they came out of the gates here, just think about it. They did the transition game. You saw that fast break that they just had. Geyer as well scoring, and Jody Anderson. Knowing that those two were going to be the players that, of course, the Panthers were going to be honing in on, to have them already score in this game feels really good if you're Centennial.
And 3 for 3 now from the line is Anderson, and a 9-0 run to start this game for the Centennial Cougars, and full court press shown here by Centennial as the Panthers bring it up the court. Dunbar with it, and now out to Smith, and she loses the basketball. It's stolen away by Cummings. Another turnover for the Panthers as Cummings is on the floor, and now we have a jump ball, so the alternate possession will give it back to Spring Lake Park. As Anna Barassa, the 5'8" senior forward, will check in for the first time tonight. Anderson will come out of the game after he's started hot with 5 points out of the first 9 for Centennial. We are less than 2 minutes into this game. I mean, Centennial, not only have they started out hot, they've been able to pressure that offense of Spring Lake Park. They've forced a number of turnovers already, and they've just had the basketball almost this entire first half.
And that's something, too, when you come into a game after not being able to really have maybe that preparation you wanted to in a season, can be tough, and you're seeing that happen here to the Panthers.
And another turnover as Cummings will take it all the way to the rack, and she'll go to the line. That is now 5 turnovers already for Spring Lake Park. And so Camille Cummings, last season a 61% free throw shooter, will go to the line. Foul against Cameron Smith, her first.
And something we're seeing here a lot too, Nick, is this Centennial squad, 4 of the 5 starters here played great minutes here this last season. So they're just really returning those strong players to be able to step up here in this first game.
And 0 for 2 from the line is Cummings, as the rebound pulled down by Taylor Falvey. Quickly up the court is Smith. And that one a shot up, but no good. And a foul from behind is going to be called on Haley Mulberry, the junior, picking up her first. And that's the first against the Centennial Cougars here with 15:45 to play in the first half.
So if you're the Panthers, you really can't hang your head. There's so much time on the clock, and also you're just trying to find that rhythm. You haven't been able to play together as much. So in these early minutes, how do you find your team? How do you come together and move forward?
Too strong from Smith, and the rebound pulled down by Cubes, and Centennial again with a chance to extend the lead to double digits. As Cummings aggressive again to the basket. We've seen that multiple times now where Camille Cummings has not been afraid to drive hard into the lane there, and draws a foul against Cameron Smith. That's the second foul against Smith. And the first one is good for Cummings in a 10-0 lead.
Checking in for the Panthers, number 5, Jenna Klubek.
Jenna Klubek, the junior guard, checking in for the first time, as Smith will have to sit. And 2 of 2 this time for Cummings after 0 of 2 in the first 2. Evening things out, and that pressure defense again for Centennial, making it tough for Spring Lake Park. The 3 on the way by Dunbar is no good, but the offensive board by Evgeny, and she puts it back up and in. Maddie Evgeny breaks up an 11-0 run for the first 2 points for Spring Lake Park.
And that's exactly what the Panthers need to get going. They need to have that post game with Ngeni getting on the board early. And so for them, this is going to be huge to see if this transitions.
Cubes the turnaround three, too strong, and rebound underneath by Kylie Diaz, the sophomore who checked in on the last stoppage.
This is what the Panthers need to do. They scored, they got the stop, so how can they go and start to get back some of these points? They're down here.
Smith will pull up. Long two, no good. Tipped around. The rebound pulled down by Barassa. Centennial by 9. Barassa nowhere to go there. Out to Cubes. And back to the top now for Cummings. Cummings has her pocket picked as Colbeck picks it up and up the court now to Ngeni. Turn around. Flip shot is good. Ngeni a 4-0 run. Quickly up the court, and now a foul on a reach-around attempt. And this is already the 5th team foul. As Dunbar will pick up the foul, and now she has 2 fouls in the game. Falvey coming back into the game, also in Michaela Thomas for Spring Lake Park.
Yeah, the Panthers will want to try to get that under wraps here. It's still 14 minutes in the first half, and so just thinking about, you don't want to get to that double-double range because, of course, Centennial already up. You're trying to close that gap, and that's just going to make it harder to get there.
A little drive and score by Jody Anderson. Nice move under there to make it 13-4 as Emma Walsh, a sophomore, and Marissa Frost, a freshman, number 34, checking into the game as well for Centennial. There's Diaz underneath. She'll drive in and a foul called, and Diaz will go to the line for the first time. Foul called against Jenna Geyer. Her first, just the second against the Cougars. Diaz limited opportunities from the free throw line last year. Just 2 free throws shot. She made 1 of them. That starts it off on a good note here. 13-5 with 1 more coming.
And Kylie's one of those players who was a 9th grader, played some great minutes here for them last year, but they're expecting some good things from her here this season, coming in with that experience last year.
Well, and she's already set a career high for free throws made this season. 2 of 2 here as it's 13-6. The miss on the Centennial side, and so a chance for Spring Lake Park to cut into this deficit a little bit. A 3 on the way by Colbeck, bouncing around, won't go. And the timing underneath was a tough one for both players trying to go up and time that one. It just kept bouncing on the back of the iron. Results in a jump ball, and so Centennial will have it back. It seems like more than 4 minutes and 40 seconds have gone off the clock so far, but it hasn't. There's been a lot packed into this first couple of minutes of this 2021 season.
And I think that has a lot to do with just the transition basketball that Centennial plays as well. It's just that up-tempo, because you see some teams, they'll sit in that offensive set trying to work it around for a long time, but Centennial's really coming at you.
Into the corner for Barassa. Now back to Megan Stacy, a 5'5" sophomore guard who's checked into the game for the first time. And Stacy will go to the rim. And that one's no good. The rebound by Kloba. Spring Lake Park trying to get some movement in transition, but really nice defense there by Centennial. Even though the Panthers had the basketball, now some discussion as to who's got it. It's going to be Spring Lake Park basketball.
Check back into the Panthers, number 24, Macy Smith.
Macy Smith has come back into the game, replacing Dunbar. 13-6 our score, a 7-point lead after Centennial opened up the game with an 11-0 run. Smith from the free throw line is good. Averaged 11.2 points per game. She scores her first bucket. And a nice little run here for Spring Lake Park. This is an 8-2 run since the opening 11-0 Salvi, and now a turnover against Centennial.
And so that's what I was saying earlier in this one, is just those first few minutes, really the Panthers just needed to kind of get their ground back into what is it like to play a game. They haven't been in this setting since last year, and so some teams can rise to that occasion quicker, but it looks like we're seeing the Panthers start to get there now.
got the scoreboard here at 13-6, but it is 13-8. As Smith will drive and score, and now 13-10 is the score. They do have the scoring wrong. And Genny with 4, Smith with 4, and Diaz with 2, the 2 free throws. And now we've got a tie-up, and that's going to give the ball to Spring Lake Park. And now the scorebook is coming over for Spring Lake Park, and they have corrected it now. Always the team that's missing points that will come to check on that.
That's true.
They'll give you a minute, but not 2.
Mm-hmm. Especially when they're the away team. They're like, okay, we know something's going on.
Here's a turnover and a bucket here for Jody Anderson. Nice scoop and score there. 6th turnover of the game for Spring Lake Park, and now 15-10. And we've got a whistle and a stoppage here with 11:31 to play in this first half as the Panthers have taken their first timeout. A full timeout is called here for Spring Lake Park, and a lot to unpack here as this has just been, first off for Spring Lake Park, they have had a hard time keeping the basketball, but when they have, they've been able to work their offense and get some buckets.
Yeah, it's really good that Macy Smith started to sink some of her shots, get in that rhythm again, knowing that she was averaging 11 points for them last season. It's going to help that she gets involved here in the early minutes in this first half.
And we're taking a look at the Spring Lake Park huddle here, if you want to call it that. And then on the other side, if we have a chance to take a look at the Centennial huddle, there really isn't one. And this is another one of the changes, obviously, for the precautions, is that we don't have much as far as those tight huddles. Nobody's talking in that close huddle, watching the coach design the plays. We've got a lot of things that are different, and obviously the most noticeable is the masking. And so I'll ask you, as somebody who played high school and college athletics, multiple sports, how would you have reacted to a situation where you had to wear a mask? Do you think it's an issue? Do you think it's something that is going to bother players? Or do you think it's something that maybe for the first game it's going to be something that they notice, and then after that they'll just go about playing? Yeah,
I think it's really kind of just getting over that distraction. I think early on, maybe these first, weeks of practice and that first couple games, but once you can get by that mind block of just that there's something different, I think these ladies will adjust and they want to play basketball. So whatever it takes, I think they just want to be on the court. And that's how I would feel too. If I could get back on the court, I'm sure they're just excited to be here. So whatever it takes, these ladies are ready.
Another turnover for Spring Lake Park gives the ball back to Centennial. Up by 5 here with still 11 minutes to go in the first half, as Cummings will drive again to the basket and score. As Camille Cummings now with 6 points in the game, and really been impressed by her aggressiveness out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, just even from last season, continuing to see her confidence just built, that she's ready to take that drive.
As this is Smith now driving in. Shot off the back of the iron, no good. And Emma Walsh, the 5'9" sophomore, with the rebound for Centennial. Bob goes inside. The turnaround off the glass is no good. That's KJ Tharp, the 5'11" sophomore center, into the game. You make a good point, though. At the end of the day, it's all about getting the opportunity to play. And so if the options are play with the mask or don't play, you have to believe that all these players are more than willing to throw the mask on. And, of course, they've been practicing with it all the time, too. So that's another factor. They're probably well used to it by now, as we've had a missed shot on both ends of the floor, and now a foul is called against Centennial.
And that's something, too, as we were just noting about their timeouts and how far apart the Centennial squad was as they're trying to hear Coach give those instructions during that timeout. But a lot of it is they don't want their season to be shut down. So anything that they can do to try to hopefully eliminate that from happening, if that means they're going to take that extra space at a timeout, they're going to do it, because they don't want to eventually have that day where too many players maybe are out and ineligible to play because of what's going on here.
And of course, you can see across the court, we've got all the fans that are here, all masked up as well. They did make an announcement prior to the game that anybody who wasn't following the protocol would be asked to leave. There's a nice pass underneath, a little strong, and they've got a foul That's going to go against Centennial underneath, and I believe they're going to get Mulberry, but we'll wait. And it is Haley Mulberry, her second. And of course, limited ability to come and watch this team, which was a popular draw here in Centennial. A good team section finalist last year. Is that three is going to rattle around and drop for Macy Smith. She's already got 7 points in the game, and it's down to 4 at 17, or did they call that a 2? It looks like they have a 2 on the board. I thought it was a 3, but it looks like they've gone with a 2.
Yeah, I thought you were right as well.
So strike the 3, add the 2, and so 17-12 the score. As Diaz will bring it back out. 3 on the way by Dunbar. That one's no good. Offensive rebound underneath by Ngeni. Underneath to Falvey on the other side, and now back out. And they'll kick it back out to Falvey for 3. That one's off the iron, but no good. And out of bounds is Ngeni. It's going to go the other way.
I love the hustle here by the Panthers. You know, getting those second chance opportunities is going to be huge down the stretch, and seeing how many opportunities the Panthers have there to try to put that one in. But of course, obviously, they want to have finished that one off, but to know if they continue to do that here in the next 8 minutes before halftime, this one could be a lot closer.
As Cubes back in the game with the basketball here. Halfway point of this first half, just passed. A 5-point lead for Centennial. Their lead has been as large as 11. Nice pass underneath to Kyer, and she'll go to the line for a 3-point play. Beautiful pass underneath. And that's going to go against Kylie Diaz, her first and the 6th team foul against the Panthers. Kyer now with 5 points in the game, and the lead is swelled back to 8 now at 20-12.
Yeah, it's awesome to hear about a couple of these ladies going to go on and play at that next level. Jenna Geyer being one of them, going to play at the University of Wisconsin Green Bay. So we get to continue to watch her if you're looking out for that.
Falvey off the mark. Offensive rebound. Now Ngeni will try. And this one pulled down by Mulberry. Centennial trying to push it back to double digits. Cummings drives back in, and she will go back to the line. And another instance where Cummings not afraid to drive back into the lane and draw some contact.
And it's working for her, so I wouldn't guess that she would stop anytime soon.
2 of 4 so far tonight, and the friendly roll makes it 3 of 5 and 3 in a row after missing the first 2.
Check it back into the Cougars number 24, against Stacy.
Spring Lake Park had this within 3 points at 13-10, but this is an 8-2 run, and now 9-2 to make it a 10-point lead.
Anderson checks back in.
And now Jody Anderson, who scored 9 of the first 13 points for Centennial, checks back into the game.
And she entered this game with 948 career points, so she's going to be one to look out for this season, trying to get that 1,000-point here before we hit the end of the year.
As that pressure backs up now for Centennial. And the 3 on the way by Smith, no good. As Centennial dropped into a zone there. They started the game in man or player-to-player defense, but dropping into a zone there out of that full court press, and here comes Spring Lake Park again.
And that is a thing that a team really has to adjust quickly. If teams are going to switch up their defense on you, how can you recognize that early on and make that switch to have it work for you?
They found a way to get it inside to Diaz, and she'll go back to the line. It was nice movement, but we saw a lot of that perimeter passing when the zone showed up. That was a nice job by Spring Lake Park to find that seam inside to get the ball inside to Diaz as Geyer picks up her second. So something to keep in mind with 7:04 to play in the half. Diaz 2 for 2 from the line.
And even you think about the confidence, too, of this Panther team, just knowing, hey, we were able to recognize that. We still made it work, even though they switched to zone. So if they do continue to do that throughout the game, just that their team is ready for that challenge.
Tharp will check back in for Geyer. Barassa also in for Cubes as the second one is up and good. Down to an 8-point lead once again for Centennial as they have the basketball. 7 minutes to play here in the first half. Nick Walsh along with Blythe Whaley here tonight. Girls basketball's opening night here in 2021. Good drive there inside, and Anderson will go back to the line.
Yeah, and we're pretty excited to be here, but we know that these ladies are even more so just because, you know, they didn't really know what their season would look like this year and if they would get that opportunity as things started to shut down. So, I mean, I can't imagine being a player and going through that. So these ladies know that this is pretty special to get back out here.
Diaz picking up her second. As Anderson now 4 for 4 from the line. Of course, the boys are across town at Spring Lake Park tonight as well. Centennial at Spring Lake Park. And 2 for 2 for Anderson. And Centennial now.
Michaela Thomas.
Centennial back up by 10 now, and they back that pressure off after the free throw now, leading by 10. Colbeck getting it inside to Smith and now throwing the ball away, and so another turnover for Spring Lake Park. I unofficially have them with 8 so far in the first half. And the Cougars will have the ball again.
Now both teams switching to that zone.
Anderson had it blocked this time. Nice play inside by Ngeni. Centennial looked like they were playing a little faster that time than they have in previous possessions. Yes, the Panthers with the basketball down by 10. And now losing the basketball is Smith. Back the other way is Frost. She'll go all the way to the basket and good. Marissa Frost, I believe, scoring the first bucket of her career, making it a 12-point lead.
And how fun is that? First game of the season to come out of the gates and already start to contribute here for her team.
Colbeck. And now up to the top for Thomas. And around to Dunbar. We've got a whistle away from the basketball against Centennial. That is the 6th team foul.
Ball's down the Cougars number 20, Jody Anderson.
Jody Anderson picking up her first, 6th against the team.
Checking back into the Cougars number 5, Sydney Hughes, and number 23, Neil Cummins.
As that long pass tipped away, and here comes Cubes. 12-point lead is the biggest of the game, and Centennial could increase that, and there's going to be a foul on Michaela Thomas, and that will send Cubes to the line.
She's another one of the players that is going to head on to play athletics at the next level, but she's actually going to be playing soccer, verbal commitment just recently to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. So she'll have some fun at the next level, but on the soccer field.
We do have a halftime score update. Spring Lake Park boys leading Centennial at the half, 52-24.
Oh, wow. Yeah, when you see that type of spread at halftime, definitely tough. You're trying to make sure your guys are staying engaged and wanting to work their way back here in the second half.
Driving inside is Ngeni. She'll go to the line. There's a foul inside. Foul going against Camille Cummings. Her second, and that's the 7th against the team. So it was a shooting foul anyways, but free throws coming for both teams the rest of the half. As the first one rattles around and drops. A 5-point game so far for Ngeni. Of course, Spring Lake Park was a team last year that had a very good team, and one of the teams you really had to feel for when everything got shut down. They had a chance, as the second one will go as well for Ngeni, to make it 28-16. She now has 6 in the game. There were a couple of teams that really felt like they were playing well at the end of the season. And of course, they got to the section semifinals as that one turned over. And then everything just stopped, and they didn't get a chance to take on a chance to play in the section final, didn't get a chance in the state tournament. And that Spring Lake Park boys basketball team thought they had a real chance of making the state tournament last year, and then just really didn't get any closure at all. And those are the teams you really felt bad for at the end of the year last year.
Yeah, and the players that were on that team last year coming back this season just know that it could all end in an instant. So you see that effort even more so in these games, just because they know that this could be their last, just like last year, how they ended so abruptly.
Offensive rebound for Spring Lake Park, and then Ngeni is going to go back to the line as the foul is going to be inside against Tharp. Tharp will pick up her first foul. And Ngeni, just a 56% free throw shooter last year, but 2 for 2 here. And now 3 for 3 here today.
Checking in for the Cougars, number 15, Haley Mulberry.
Haley Mulberry checking back into the game. Anderson will come back out. Falvey coming back in as well for Klobuck. And now 4 for 4 from the line in Ngeni. And the lead down to 10 for Centennial, 28-18. And inside, and that zone making a turnover as Ngeni will drive back in. Missed it, but the rebound underneath by Smith. She had a shot, couldn't put it up. And here comes Centennial again. They've got Cummings up the court, but that pass gets tipped away. And back the other way for Falvey, and he lost it, but had a tip from behind. Fast and furious here the last couple of minutes again.
Yeah, back and forth, both these teams trying to make something happen, but almost trying a little bit too hard, getting ahead of themselves and seeing Centennial be able to get back and tip that one out of bounds.
A little short for Ngeni, and here comes Mulberry again. Check that, that's Cubes. She'll back it out, they'll reset. Now Mulberry's got it for Cummings. Cubes. Under the basket, too deep, and a block there by Ngeni. And here comes Spring Lake Park again. And the drive by Smith, no call. And the Panthers will retain possession. Smith will try a 3. And the rebound by Cubes underneath. They're going to get a foul from behind here. Falvey is going to be called for the push prior to the shot. And that's going to be the 10th team foul, so 2 free throws coming up for Mulberry, and another possession in which Centennial ends up at the line after some aggressive play towards the basket.
Yeah, and you see that strength from Centennial just with their transition game, getting the ball up the court and making something happen. So, I mean, Centennial really wasn't on offense a whole lot of time before they're able to head to the line here.
First one is up and good for Mulberry. Her first point of the night. Extending the lead back to 13.
Number 24, Mason Smith, and number 42, Kylie Diaz.
Mulberry. 2 for 2 from Mulberry. Pushing the lead back up to 12. It's been pretty consistent for the most part after that early 11-0 run for Centennial to open the game. Spring Lake Park was able to close within 3, but Centennial's been able to build that lead back up. Here's the drive by Dunbar, and it's swatted out of bounds.
And yeah, I'm not surprised by that, just having one of the teams come out of the gate maybe more ready than the other, just because of how difficult this season would be to make sure you're ready for what a game situation is going to look like. And
now that one's going to be a foul against Spring Lake Park. And
offensive
foul against Falvey, her second. This has been a game of runs so far. Centennial 11-0 to start the game. Spring Lake Park answered with a 10-2 run. Centennial answered that run with their own 9-2 run. And have also had a 6-0 run in there. So Centennial's just had a few more runs than Spring Lake Park. Inside feed to Geyer, back out to Cummings, and the 3 is short, but the offensive board pulled down by Mulberry. High post for Geyer, her turnaround. Oh, too strong, and then Genny. Looks like maybe some mass substitutions coming in late here for Centennial. No sense getting any of the key players in any more foul trouble, potentially.
Yeah, that is going to be a big line going into the second half, wanting to make sure they have those players that they need to keep this lead.
As Dunbar has Cummings poke it away, no foul, and so here come this reinforcements here as Barassa back into the game. Anderson checking back in, and also Stacy into the game as Cubes comes out, Mulberry and Cummings all out of the game.
So not a whole lot of time left in this first half.
And an offensive foul called against the Panthers.
Unfortunately for the Panthers, just because of thinking, like we said, not a whole lot of time here in the first half, trying to get that lead by Centennial cut down before they have to come back and try to get some more. But the Panthers, you don't want to have any of those silly turnovers.
And they've had a number of turnovers tonight that have really hindered them, as this time the turnover will go against Centennial. Just off the hands of Walsh. .95 seconds remaining in the first half, and Centennial with a 12-point advantage. And they're going to get a foul. I believe they're going to get Geyer, and that is her third. So I was a little bit surprised when they had 3 players come in late that Geyer wasn't one of the players that came out. She was one of just 2 players on the floor that had 2 fouls.
Yeah, like you said, that is surprising that that was the case, especially because she hasn't had maybe the offensive performance that they would have wanted, having 20 points against this team last season, and now sitting at, I believe, only 4.
And a steal by Thomas, and she lost the basketball going up. And so a turnover, an unforced error there for the Panthers. And because Ngeni missed the free throw, Geyer was out there for a while with 3 fouls, finally coming out along with Walsh for the final 121. As Megan Stacy will bring the ball down the court for Centennial.
As a player, good awareness by Geyer, trying to make sure that she doesn't get another foul until she can get out of the play.
And so Tharp is in there. Another turnover there as here comes Thomas. Under a minute now to play in the half. And the 3 from Smith is off the back iron. Centennial pushing. Really knocked away from Frost.
Now, if you're the Panthers, this is a huge stop here before half, and they do it.
As Anderson threw it away. And here's Thomas again. Kloback. Now to Smith, who drives in and scores the basket. Smith has been the bright spot offensively. So 30-20. And then back the other way, a 3. Makes it a 13-point lead for Centennial. 5 seconds to go. And Smith is fouled with 4.6 seconds to go, and that will send her to the line for 2. As Anderson commits the foul, so she picks up her second. That's a tough foul because she picks up her second foul. They're a good 25, close to 30 feet from the basket, and you're giving Smith a pair of free throws.
Yeah, especially when you look at the clock and just how much time is really left, only 4 seconds.
One and two for Macy Smith, 33-21, 4.6 seconds to go. Centennial trying to get it down the court, cubes from half court, and off, no good. And so Centennial with a 12-point lead at the half. They had an 11-point lead after the first barrage of points for the Cougars, and so they built an 11-0 run to start the game, and they pretty much maintained that throughout.
Yeah, and something that's going to be huge, too, is what that transition looks like. Geyer not really having the offensive game maybe that she would have liked here in the first half. What does she do to try to get that rhythm here in the second half for Centennial?
All right, we're going to take a break here from the arena, and when we come back, we'll have the second half of tonight's game between Centennial and Spring Lake Park. It's been Centennial kind of controlling the tempo. We'll see if that continues into the second half. We'll be back then with more high school basketball here from Centennial. 33-21 our score. We'll be back with the second half.
People with COVID-19 may be short of breath, have a cough, fever, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, chills, or loss of taste or smell. Sometimes people may throw up, get diarrhea, or their stomach may hurt. Get tested if you have COVID-19 symptoms. Talk to a doctor, a local clinic, or use the screening tool on the Minnesota COVID-19 response website to help decide if you should get tested.
If doctors, nurses, and grocery store clerks can wear a mask for 10 or 12-hour shifts, You can wear a mask for an hour or less when you go to the store. Do your part. Mask up, America.
All right, and we are back here once again at Centennial. Halftime score 33-21. Centennial jumping out to that 11-0 lead before maintaining that into the half as a really impressive start for Centennial, and they've just been able to maintain that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was what was going to be one of the key factors here in a game like this, is just the season has been so weird. You don't have as many practices before you would have, and so just who is going to be coming out of the gate strong, and Centennial proved that here tonight.
Jody Anderson, we talked about her averaging almost 16 points last year. She's come out hot, 14 points in the first half. Camille Cummings has been impressive with 8 first half points. Jenna Geyer with 5 in the first half, along with 2 each for Marissa Frost and Haley Mulberry, and 2 points as well for Sydney Cubes. Meanwhile, just 3 players have scored for Spring Lake Park. Macy Smith with 9 points in the first half, Maddie Ngeni with 8, and Kylie Diaz with 4. You have to think that they're going to have to expand on that a little bit if they're going to come back in this one.
Yeah, certainly going to have to get some stops down the stretch. And when you think about it, too, they did a pretty good job with Geyer here in this first half. So what does that look like to start looking at Camille Cummings and continuing to look at Jody Anderson as well?
We'll take a 30-second break, and when we come back, we'll have the second half after this. 33-21 Centennial. You're watching high school basketball on North Metro 15.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How was it? Is it good?
Centennial leading by 12, 33-21. And Spring Lake Park will have the basketball to start this second half. And the Panthers come out with Avery Dunbar at the point guard position. Same 5 starters for the Panthers. As that 3 off the back iron by Smith. And here comes Centennial for the first time today, or in the second half, I should say, as Coobs gets it inside to Geyer. That's off the bottom of the rim, no good. And back the other way, Centennial also coming out with their same 5 starters to start the second half. So Panthers with Dunbar and Genny, Smith, Falvey, and Cameron Smith, Macy and Cameron. Centennial with Cubes, Mulberry, Anderson, Cummings, and Geyer. As this one spun around to Cameron Smith. And now Falvey at the top of the key.
So the Panthers looking to chip away at this Centennial lead, and definitely going to come down to if they can get some stops as well. Centennial doing quite well on the offensive side, and even if they continue to score on some of these, they'll still need to get those stops.
There's no points on that possession for the Panthers, and we've got a traveling violation called against Mulberry. So a turnover there for Centennial. Gives the ball to the Panthers, so a chance to cut into this lead a little bit early for Spring Lake Park.
Yeah, how can they take advantage of this? Centennial giving them a couple opportunities to get closer in this game, and they haven't really been able to capitalize on it, but here's another one.
As Macy Smith will set the offense, player-to-player defense here to start this second half. We've seen Centennial go back and forth, and Smith going inside and fighting for the rebound and finding a way to get it to Cameron Smith. And Genny goes inside and off the glass and good.
Great effort there by the Panthers. Of course, seeing Smith getting on the floor, making sure she got that second chance opportunity for her team, and Genny capitalizing for them.
Well, the other thing, too, it looks like they're trying to attack inside. Remember, Jenna Geyer picked up her 3rd foul late, so maybe Spring Lake Park thinking if we can draw a quick foul against Geyer inside, we might have a chance to find it a little easier inside for some of this second half. As Geyer with the basketball, and that's a kick, so it's going to stay with Centennial.
Yeah, if Geyer picks up another foul, that could be a game changer, and so Panthers, I'm sure, looking to do so.
Well, and no more that we say that, but Geyer comes out of the game. Barassa will come in, and now right on cue, Kylie Diaz will check into the game for Taylor Falvey. So Diaz comes in. She was able to be aggressive inside, but she also has 3 fouls, so keep that in mind too. As Cubes with it, she'll try a 3, and she got fouled from behind. Cameron Smith will pick up her 3rd foul, and that's a tough one for Spring Lake Park, as Cubes was already into the motion and just kind of got the arm slap from Cameron Smith. 3 free throws coming up for Cubes as she misses the first.
And it's going to be tough. Panthers wanting to, use that adrenaline in the second half to try to come back. How can you use that to your advantage? But sometimes in these circumstances, you get those ticky-tack fouls because you're really just trying to get back in the game and use that extra effort.
And 2 of 3 from the line for Cubes makes it 35-23. 2 of 3 on the opportunity, and that one was tipped away. Anderson got a piece of it. And that full court pressure there from Centennial. Quickly up the court. The Panthers did a nice job of breaking it. And off the glass and good by Diaz. Her first field goal, although she had 4 points from the free throw line in the first half. It's down to a 10-point lead. Quickly inside and back to the line goes Jody Anderson.
But on this last possession, the Panthers did exactly what they need to do if they don't want this full court pressure on them for the rest of the second half. You just have to continue to break it, and they're going to shut it down.
Meanwhile, Diaz will pick up her 4th foul of the game. Anderson is now 6 for 6 from the line. As Klobik will come back into the game. Diaz is out. This one is short, and the rebound pulled down by Ngeni. 11-point lead. And shot inside as Smith picks up the basket. And now 36-27, down to a 9-point lead again. As Cubes will try a three on the other side. That'll be short. The rebound and the putback by Mulberry. And now the full court press again. And that one's tipped away. Cubes will have it, laying it off the glass and good. Cubes with her first field goal of the game. And the lead has been expanded to 13 now. And it seems like every time Spring Lake Park has a bit of a run, Centennial has an answer. And that one out, and Mulberry the rebound. Anderson will dial it up for three, and it's good. Second three-point basket of the game for Anderson, and the lead is up to a game-high 16 points. 43-27. And a timeout is called on the floor by Spring Lake Park with 14:16 to play here in the second half. And so a full timeout, and if I heard right from the officials, I don't know if I was aware of that rule, but he is saying that everything is a full timeout this year. So I suppose the way that we talked about the huddling, I suppose a 30-second timeout or a 20-second timeout, everybody is huddled up trying to get things done as fast as they can. Maybe everything's a full timeout this year, so everybody has a chance to stay socially distant, and they don't have to rush through it, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. I hadn't really thought of it that way. And you also think, too, is just, I mean, the coaches were telling me before the game that these girls trying to transition to wearing these masks. Definitely, they said they probably needed more water breaks than they did before. And so you wonder if that has something to do with it. They just want to make sure if they are calling them, they have that extra time maybe to get some water. And like you said, certainly because social distancing, I'm sure, has made that time frame take longer for them to kind of get set, ready to talk.
And so with that, the Panthers will have the basketball after the three from Anderson, who has 18 points in the game already. Still 14-16 to play here in the second half. And another steal underneath as this one's tossed up and good. Megan Stacy with the bucket. Sophomore getting her first bucket of the season. And we've got a foul on that pressure in the backcourt. The foul on Cummings will be her third. So Cummings now with three. Geyer, who's on the bench with three. Second team foul against the Cougars. As we'll see Marissa Frost back into the game for Cummings. This one will go into Ngeni. They'll attack the inside now with some of the taller players for Centennial out of the game. 43-29 the score. And a turnover as Dunbar's got it. Ngeni will go all the way to the basket and off the side of the backboard. And now a foul is going to be called on Cameron Smith, and that'll be her fourth.
I think also what we just saw there on Ngeni's break, trying to lay that one up, it was almost like she went away from the contact instead of going in. I'm sure sometimes, too, you don't want to get a charge call. You're going way faster than you would have. Sometimes in other circumstances when you're down low like that, but I feel like she could have went into the contact, possibly drew the foul.
Geyer back into the game, but that pass of hers is tipped in the air, and we've got, I believe, a jump ball, and it'll be Centennial basketball.
Jump ball call. Cougars possession.
Frost will inbound. Nope. Barassa now will inbound. And finally Anderson, and Anderson in and out, but Geyer the rebound. The putback won't go. And the tip ball finally comes down in the hands of Macy Smith, and a foul is going to be called. I believe they're going to get Frost on this one. with a push from behind. They will.
Falls on the Cougars, number 34.
With that, Tharp will come into the game, and Anderson, who's had a really nice first game of the season, 18 points, will come out of the game.
Yeah, still quite a bit of time. Last time they matched up, she had 22, so it looks like she might go over that mark here in this game tonight.
That went off the hands of Dunbar. She just lost it out of bounds, and so Cougar basketball, we've seen that throughout the game. That's been a prevailing first game point to maybe work on for the Panthers, as they've had a number of turnovers, and give Centennial's defense some credit for that, as they've been able to knock it away. Geyer, the offensive board, that one's knocked away. The rebound for Centennial. Fighting for the rebound underneath is Macy Smith.
Credit to Spring Lake Park, certainly showing that extra effort to get some of these rebounds in the last couple minutes.
And Denny will try three. That won't go. And a foul is going to come from behind, as Jenna Kolbeck will be called for the foul. Just being a little over-aggressive on that one, trying to reach around the defender. We've fallen into a little bit of a more of a maybe less offense and a little sloppier game here the last couple of minutes here. It's been more turnovers and fouls here the last 2-3 minutes of this one.
Both these coaches were telling me too, it's just, what does that look like for conditioning when your teams, you know, they thought they were going to have a season, then you had all that off time and now trying to come back. And you wonder if that has something to do with it too. You see players get sloppy a lot of times when they're maybe a little bit more tired than they usually have. So as we get in these later minutes, it might tend to get sloppier here in these first few games back.
As Geyer will go back to the line. And let's obviously remember too, this is game number 1. Yeah. So it's a situation as Ngeni will pick up her third, check that second foul of the game. Fourth against the Panthers as Geyer will go to the line and in and out. Geyer missing her first free throw. She was an 84% free throw shooter. It's nice to have a presence underneath who can also shoot free throws, as you're going to end up going to the line a lot over the course of the season, playing in the lane underneath. She makes 1 or 2. 2 for 3 so far in the game tonight. 17-point lead now for Centennial, 46-29. 12 minutes to play here in the opening tip-off of the 2021 season. And Ngeni goes in, move there and scores. And Ngeni with 6.5, 14 in the game. He's got almost half of the points.
And think about it too, you know, and Ngeni trying to take advantage of Geyer having a lot of fouls and knowing that, hey, she might play off me a little bit or back off as I start to drive, and she did a great job finishing on this last one.
Centennial rotating the ball around, nearly lost it there, as it'll come out to Stacy for 3. And the rebound underneath by Thomas. Just a freshman, Michaela Thomas picking up the rebound. And Ngeni will go strong all the way to the basket and a little too strong, as the rebound pulled down by Barasa. Lead is 15 for Centennial. It's been as high as 17. Tharp will pass it across to Stacy, and now inside it'll go to Geyer. And off the glass, nice little shoulder shake to the right, and then the turn to the left for the bucket.
Yeah, last season we saw Geyer have some of those first halves that maybe she didn't have as many points, but then in the second half just figured out what was missing and how she could get around. And that last play looked like something she might be able to continue to do here in the second half if she gets the opportunity.
3 no good is the rebound by Geyer. As the 3 from Barasa no good. She gets her own rebound and then has it blocked. And Ngeni now takes it away. Nice possession there for Barasa. Missed the shot, got the rebound, and then forced the turnover.
She got all the stats there. Getting the steal.
Yes, that one for Geyer no good. And now on the ground again, loose ball, and then Ngeni comes up with it. And Kolbeck will choose to reset, let everybody come down the court. 10 minutes to go. Yes, for 3 on the way, no good. Dunbar, the offensive board, but no good there. And Geyer heaves down the rebound. And we've got a whistle and a timeout, I believe, called. We've got a line change coming up here for Centennial when we get back to live action. We've got 5 substitutions coming into the game once we are ready, as Centennial calls their first time out of the game.
Were you saying all those 5 for Centennial? Those 5 going in, and there's 3 coming in for Spring Lake Park. So we're gonna have a whole new game here in just a minute.
And maybe we'll see what kind of pace we get, just because we've had just kind of an odd, it's been back and forth. It was probably sharper in the first half, particularly for Centennial, than in the second half. Defensively, I think Centennial's probably pretty pleased with how they're playing overall. They've tightened up, and they've allowed 10 in the second half, only allowed 21 in the first half, so they're right on par, basically about 10 points for every 9 or 10 minutes. And so far, Centennial, their defense has been pretty solid, and their offense certainly got them off to a good start, and they've been maintaining and building this lead slowly through the game.
Yeah, Macy Smith really doing a great job for this Panther team, and if they can continue to use her, obviously somewhat of the hot hand on the team might help them through the stretch. But Ngeni too, I mean, if she can continue to drive if Geyer is in and on her, just knowing that fact that Geyer is possibly going to lay off with that foul trouble she's in.
Mulberry back in the game, Anderson, Cummings, Hughes. And as this one's stolen away, Macy Smith, the aforementioned player, taking it away, and now the rebound pulled down. Emma Walsh, the lone non-starter in the game, as Geyer came out along with the rest of the line there. There's Cubes with the basketball. And now Mulberry lobbing it across for Anderson. And Anderson under the basket, got a little too deep, but was able to back herself under the basket and draw the foul. Foul's going to go against Cameron Smith, and I believe that's her 5th foul of the game. It is, so she is out of the game with 9:07 to play in the second half. And so it looks like we will see the freshman Michaela Thomas back in the game. Thomas has not scored in today's game, looking for her first career points. Has a couple of fouls so far, as the first one is up and good for Anderson. She is now 7 for 7 from the line. And to get Centennial to an even 50. Second one no good. The broadcaster's jinx is in. As Anderson now 7 of 8 from the line. Driving in is Diaz and scoring. Diaz has been a bright spot off the bench for Spring Lake Park. He's got 8 points, 4 in each half so far. And nearly a steal, but Smith's going to pick up the foul. That's going to be the 7th team foul, however, against the Spring Lake Park Panthers. Second against Smith, but that's going to send Mulberry to the line, and things just got a little tougher for Spring Lake Park because every foul is going to send Centennial to the line.
And I feel like you see that happen a lot when a team is down. They're trying to make that comeback because you're going to take some of those riskier opportunities, and you're going to possibly stick your hand in there trying to steal the ball and hopefully make something happen. But it's always a tough spot to be in when you're trying to chip back at this deficit.
2 for 2 from the line for Mulberry. And 51-33 now, up to 18 points. That's the largest in the night. Centennial, meanwhile, by contrast, has just 2 fouls. As that's tipped out of bounds, it'll stay with Spring Lake Park. And a foul on the drive as Smith will go to the line for a pair. Foul's going to go against Camille Cummings, and that will be her 4th. So some Centennial particulars starting to climb in the foul trouble as well. First one no good from Smith. 57% from the line last year, 1 for 3 so far tonight. evening up at 2 of 4.
Checking in for the Cougars, number 34, Melissa Frost.
Cougars by 17. As Anderson had it tipped away from her and a turnover. As Diaz picks it off in the lane.
Panthers starting to need this to work in their favor. We're getting further into the second half to try to make a comeback here.
That 3 from Smith, no good. She's fired up a few, got her own rebound, but her rebound shot is no good. And now I believe the Centennial player on the ground ended up on the line. That's Mulberry. So it'll stay with the Panthers. Dunbar checking back in for Klobeck here.
Yeah, the shots may not always be falling here for the Panthers, but getting a lot of second chance opportunities. So in other games, this could bode well for them, knowing that fact that they're looking for that rebound as well.
And Genny with another pair. Well, she's had a nice second half. She's got 16 in the game, and now another turnover. She's got 8 in each half. 16 in the game. Lead down to 15. The feed goes inside, and Diaz couldn't get it to go, and Smith got away, nearly committed a foul there as that one's knocked away. Nice active hands again by Diaz. I've really been impressed by the sophomore for Spring Lake Park, Kylie Diaz. 8 points, 4 in each half. And some good defense there as Geyer is back into the game now. Yes. Here's a 3 from Smith, and another one that just won't go down. She'll continue to try, but just not hitting tonight.
Yeah, except on that one, not getting that second chance opportunity, not having the rebound. But again, the clock is going to start to become a factor as we get further down the stretch.
Good ball movement. Frost couldn't finish. Cubes the rebound, and that one's knocked away out of bounds. The final in the boys game over at Spring Lake Park. Final score, Spring Lake Park 87, Centennial 47. So a 40-point win tonight for the Panthers on the boys' side. That's the Cougars rotating the basketball. As that one goes into Geyer for the score.
Yeah, great movement by Centennial on this last one. Again, just swinging it around, making sure that, you know, they aren't able to track Geyer with that motion offense that they were just running.
Geyer into double digits now in scoring with 10 with that bucket. Yes, Smith will pull up and off the back iron again. She has just been a little bit long with her shots tonight. Nice ball movement out to Cubes, in to out, but the bucket won't go. Anderson fights for the rebound, and then it's taken away by Dunbar. Here come the Panthers. Got a long way to go here to get back into this one. As Dunbar will drive all the way in and score. First bucket of the season for Avery Dunbar. Lead down to 15 with 5:40 to go. Frost getting it into the corner for Geyer, and now Cubes drives in, and she's held up on the way in. Who's going to get the foul? And Genny was in there as well as Diaz. They're going to get in Genny, and that's her third. Diaz with 4, and so that's why that one made a difference. Now Geyer will come out of the game again, up by 15. She picked up 3 fouls in the first half, but she's done a nice job of staying out of any further foul trouble in the second half. Cubes, the 1 and 1, so she makes the first, she earns the second.
And that just comes down to awareness, knowing where you're sitting with that fouls, with the fouls that you already have, and how you know that you need to be in the game or want to be in the game. How can you not allow that to happen or be in that circumstance?
Dunbar in and out with Herzog, who's into the game. Haley Herzog. And now a foul is going to be called against Cubes. And that's just her first foul of the night.
Her first. Team's fourth.
And only the 4th team foul for Centennial. So they really have not had any real foul trouble as a team to speak of in the second half. They've had a couple of players. I mentioned Geyer with 3. Cummings picked up her 4th a couple of minutes ago. As the drive by Dunbar, a little short, and the rebound pulled down by Barassa.
And it makes it that much tougher, too, for the Panthers as they're trying to get back in this one. Even if they do get the foul, and they're not going to the line, they're not stopping the clock to help them add some points.
Here's Frost into the lane, and she'll go to the line, and I believe this time it is Diaz, and she will have fouled out of the game. Well, let's see now. They're going to get Avery Dunbar going in, reaching prior to Diaz making contact, and so the 9th team foul, and so Frost will go to the line for 2. They'll say that was a shooting foul. And the first one is no good.
If you're Diaz, you're relieved to hear that it wasn't on you, so you get to stay.
Dunbar picking up her 3rd. The second one is also short. But the offensive rebound by Centennial. And now a whistle and a traveling violation called. And so the turnover nonetheless. (54-38), a 16-point lead. The lead has been as high as 18. When it was 51-33. Smith will drive in, dishes it underneath to Diaz, who's into double figures tonight.
Which has to feel good. I mean, you mentioned earlier in this game that, you know, getting on the board for her this season already feels pretty good.
Cubes with a quick shot, and then the ball thrown all the way down the court, and Genny saved it, but saved it to the opposition as Centennial has got the basketball again with 4 minutes to go. See if Centennial starts to use a little clock. Well, and this time they'll throw it out of bounds instead. So we'll see if looks like Cummings coming back into the game. Emma Walsh will come in as Cubes comes out along with Barassa.
I love seeing the depth for Centennial. Just what they're going to have to use this season is going to feel pretty tremendous, knowing, hey, we can sub a lot of players out, keep those fresh legs.
They've played 10 deep, and they have played significant minutes. All 10 players have played fairly significantly here tonight. And Smith will pull up from 15 and hit. And we've got a timeout called here with 3:39 to go as Spring Lake Park has started to mount a little bit of a comeback here. They're down by 12 with 3:39 to play. And the timeout by Spring Lake Park. You talk about the depth of Centennial, and you look at the score sheet and you don't see a whole lot offensively, at least from that Centennial, the second 5 that have come off. They've got just 4 points unofficially off the bench tonight, but nonetheless, they don't seem to have missed a step, so to speak. They seem to have been able to do the same things offensively, even though maybe their offense shrinks a little bit when they've got some players in off the bench, but they seem to be able to be just as effective with those players, with their bench players interspaced with it.
Yeah, and that just comes down to just having some of those key players that Jody Anderson is still going to be Jody Anderson, even if Cummings and Geyer are out of the game. It doesn't take all of them together to make that happen. So one of them is still probably putting the ball in the back or into the net, regardless of where they're getting it from. Because you saw, I mean, Camille Cummings just taking the drive on her own. Like, she really, nothing was a huge setup. Sure, they got the pass, what have you, but she made it happen, and Geyer, same thing.
Meanwhile, for Spring Lake Park, they have had some nice production off the bench tonight. Kylie Diaz with 10 points off the bench, and now a whistle and an out-of-bounds call as Cummings got trapped along the sideline, and a nice defensive play by Spring Lake Park.
So this can be a momentum swing. How can you, again, use this if you're the Panthers? You just feel the energy. You saw the bench stand up.
Player-to-player defense now for Centennial. We've seen them in a zone at times here. Smith another three. This one will bounce in and out. And the rebound pulled down by Tharp, and it's lost again. Falvey will get it inside to Ngeni. She's fouled, and she'll go to the line for a three-point play. Maddie Ngeni has been very effective inside, particularly in the second half. She's got 10 in the second half to go along with 8 points in the first half, and she can cut this to single digits with the free throw.
And you felt that energy again here, seeing the Panthers get to come out of that with Ngeni in that three-point play.
And this is a 9-0 run for Spring Lake Park to cut it to within 9. They were down by 18 points, and now this one is tipped, and it'll stay. Whoa, they're going to say it's Spring Lake Park. Now they're going to talk about this. They're going to say it was tipped.
Oh,
well, they're going to say it wasn't tipped. The only way that Spring Lake Park basketball is if it wasn't tipped, and they're going to say it wasn't. And so here we go with 3:07 to go. Spring Lake Park with the basketball down by 9.
And so, sure, time is getting down, but there's still a lot of time on the clock. That if they go and they continue to use this momentum that they just brought, they could be in a pretty good place.
Macy Smith drives in. She's got 14 in the game, but she just keeps putting it up. She's missed a couple of three opportunities, but she is aggressive with the basketball. She's not afraid to shoot the basketball, and she'll receive the inbound pass here with 2:55 to go. I'll go inside to Ngeni. She throws up a wild one, and Dyer's got it.
I think that sometimes the excitement gets you in some of these moments, and I feel like...
And a steal by Dunbar. And she'll go all the way in and score. She's got 4 in the game, and the lead is cut down to 7.
I'm glad to see that just that missed opportunity by Ngeni the moments before didn't shut down that momentum that the Panthers had just brought. And so you see it continue on with Dunbar's layup there.
An 11-0 run here from Spring Lake Park, and the gym's starting to get loud. There's not many people in here, but the ones that are making some noise.
It's feeling like a basketball game just with that crowd noise we haven't heard too much of.
Centennial killing some time now. They toss it inside to Anderson, now back out to Cubes. Under 2 to go. Anderson guarded closely by Ngeni. It's poked away, the ball is loose, it's out of bounds, and it is going to be a conversation here. Critical call here.
What do you think it was?
It's going to be Spring Lake Park basketball.
What a change of events here as the Panthers using these final minutes to their full capacity.
The inbound will come to Dunbar. 1:48 to play here in regulation. There's Macy Smith with the basketball. He'll drive into the lane, puts it up, off the glass, no good. Offensive rebound, the putback is no good. That was Diaz underneath that couldn't get it to go. And Anderson with the basketball here with 90 seconds to play. Anderson to the right hand now will drive all the way in, scores, and a foul. Jody Anderson could have tried to pull that back out and run some clock instead. Became aggressive with the basketball and pushes the lead back up to 9.
And now the Panthers, seeing how they can respond to this, because of course now you let them score, so you kind of just lost some of those points you've gained back, but still you're sitting in a decent position if you are able to score quickly here in the next couple possessions.
So 1:23 to play. That was a critical basket. I mean, the Panthers really have no margin for error at this point, and so 9 is more difficult. 7. As Dunbar will kick it out here to Klobeck. And now inside it'll go to Diaz. The turnaround off the glass and good. And a timeout is called as Diaz now with 12 points in the game. And the timeout to pull it back to within 7. Here with 1:08 to play. And so still a lot to recover for Spring Lake Park, but stranger things have happened. I watched a Gopher basketball game a couple of weeks ago on Christmas Day when the Gophers were down by 7 with, I believe, 38 or 37 seconds to go and came back to tie Iowa and eventually won in overtime. So stranger things have certainly happened than this, but you got to give credit to Spring Lake Park here to rally the way that they have. I mean, they were down 18 points. They were down 54-36 with about 4 minutes to go, and they have cut this to 7 with 1:08 to go. So they've really played their best basketball here in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, Coach Etherton has to be so proud of his team. And when you think about this too, this Panther team has learned a lot about themselves here in the last few minutes because they know that they're capable of this. So, you know, if they were able to start the game with that energy, this game could have been completely different.
And for Centennial, the goal is to finish here. I mean, you know, this is game number 1, and rule number 1 is winning is always more fun than losing. So you want to get out of here with a win, and so you finish off the last 68 seconds and check it in at 1-0. Full court pressure here for Spring Lake Park as Cubes with the basketball. Lobs it over the head and out of bounds. It's going to be Spring Lake Park basketball.
And I think not only the Panthers, they're learning something about themselves. Centennial, they're also learning about their team and just what it takes to finish out a ball game, like you said. And so knowing, hey, we did have a lead, but that doesn't mean we're going to always have a huge lead as we go into these final minutes.
Here's Smith for 3, and that one is no good. Just hasn't been able to get it to drop from outside, and Geyer with the rebound. And here's Anderson now, 42 seconds to go. And they'll pull it out as Cubes will finally be fouled, and Diaz is fouled out of the game here with 42 seconds to go.
False call on the Panthers, number 42, Kylie
What a
Diaz.
first game for the sophomore off the bench, Kylie Diaz. She gets 4 points in the first half, 8 in the second. She finishes the game with 12 overall. I was really impressed with the way she played coming off the bench. As Cubes will go to the line, she's got 7 tonight. 5 of them from the free throw line. And the first one is no good. And the second one won't go. Spring Lake Park still kicking. Here comes in Genny. She's going to drive all the way in, and it's blocked by Geyer. And now 25 seconds to go. And Mulberry's got the basketball, and the foul comes at the behest of Macy Smith, and that might have been the last gasp for Spring Lake Park.
Yeah, you think about it too. I mean, Ngeni, it probably felt weird. She had so much space. There wasn't anyone on her. So, you know, you think about how much you want to just drive to the basket, and you almost think if she would have went down and stopped instead of having that momentum with her running, she might have made it just because nobody was on her. She really was wide open.
One more coming here from Mulberry. 7 in the game tonight. And it'll stay there as Ngeni gets the rebound. 20 seconds to go. Colbeck's giving it off now to Dunbar, and she'll drive in. And the shot no good. Mulberry is fouled underneath by Smith, and she'll come back down with 10.8 seconds to go. And so Centennial is going to hang on for the victory here. The question will be the final score as Macy Smith fouls out. She's the 3rd Panther to foul out tonight here. With 10.8 seconds to go. Along with Cameron Smith and Kylie Diaz, and the first one is good for Mulberry.
Mulberry makes her first. Mulberry
2 for 2 for Mulberry. 9 points in the game for her. 10-point lead here for Centennial, and Ngeni will heave it up there, and the rebound pulled down by Mulberry, and the clock will run dry here in Centennial. Final score here tonight, Centennial gets the win. It started off strong for Centennial. They ended up having to hold on in the end, but nonetheless, a wire-to-wire victory for the Cougars, and they'll take it.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the season as a whole, what they have ahead of them, it feels really encouraging for the Panthers to have had this strong finish that they did. Sure, it might not have went as far as they would have liked it to and brought this game even closer, but to think about what this game was like before those final minutes, this changed kind of everything that we saw.
Yeah, and we talked about the players to watch throughout tonight's game, and we talked about Jenna Geyer. She finishes with 10 points, but we also talked about Jody Anderson for Centennial. She finishes with 21. She leads all scorers. She had a very nice first game of the year.
Yeah, both these teams, I mean, have learned so much just from what this first game put out of the year, and I'm sure Centennial will go to the drawing board and make sure they're ready to finish strong, and Panthers, you know, knowing how can we start the game like we finished it.
And meanwhile, for Spring Lake Park, they have 3 players that finish in double figures. Maddie Ngeni with 19, Macy Smith with 14, and Kylie Diaz off the bench with 12. So some good pieces to work with there for Spring Lake Park as well.
But nonetheless, these ladies got out there. They finished a whole first game of the season, and regardless of wearing masks and not being able to high five at the end of the game, they were still able to go out and do what they love to do.
All right, with that, we'll wrap things up here from Centennial. A final score once again, Centennial 59, Spring Lake Park 49. My thanks to Kirsten back in the studio, pushing all the buttons and making us sound good here at the arena. Our thanks to Rob Clark running the camera tonight, and also, of course, Blythe Whaley here for the colorful commentary for this evening. For everybody else, I'm Nick Walsh saying stay positive, test negative, and thanks for joining us this evening. 59-49 final score. Centennial gets the win. So long, everybody.